aggregate everything. We will share the presentation, Dr. Frederick's presentation, out with everybody, and we will also share out the recording so that anything you've missed along the way, you'll be able to go and review and have think, okay, how does this affect us? Now, I will also say that if you want to put some questions in the chat box as we're moving along, because at the moment we have in excess of 40 people on the call, so it's not going to be possible to take questions from everybody, but if you want to put your questions into the chat box, please do, and we will get to everything that we can get to. So, without further ado, I'm going to throw to Dr. Frederick, who is going to bedazzle and wow us with all the updates and information about Cambridge grade 1 to 10. So, over to you, Dr. Frederick.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Michael. Let me share my screen and we can start immediately. So normally now you should be able to see my screen. If you cannot see it, please let us know. So I can see it is shared. So welcome to this first information session about Cambridge curriculum for grade 1 to 10. Here is the agenda. At first, we will introduce you what we expect from the UIA learner, how we monitor them, and how we guide them throughout their learning. And then we dive into
Frederick, sorry to interrupt.
Pathway with primary, lower secondary, and the pre-advanced program.
Frederick, I'm sorry to interrupt.
And I'm thinking here about external assessment. All right, sorry for that. And there will be an update that maybe some of you are looking for about IGCSE Japanese that will be led by Mr. Michael. And eventually, I'll let you know about the upcoming sessions. But so, what is UIA? So UIA stands for Unite, Inspire, and Achieve. And we are talking about a community that we all believe that we can improve our environment through our values as both individuals and as a collective. Now, to guide students through this, we look at how students are reflective, responsible, confident, engaged, and innovative. This is lining up with Cambridge's philosophy about education. So in a nutshell, the learner attribute that we have introduced last year are a way to recognize that students need to develop attitudes, so room of improvement, life skills throughout their education. They also highlight their academic strengths in order to be successful in this journey. So that was what are the UIA learner in a nutshell. And this is implemented from grade 1 to 10, so from primary for grade 1 to 5, lower secondary for grade 6 to 8, and what we call the Cambridge pre-advanced, or so-called the IGCSE level, so that is grade 9 to 10. For grade 11 to 12, there is another session scheduled in July. I'll let you know later on. As the student move from one division to another one, for example, primary moving to lower secondary, this is sanctioned by the checkpoint exam, the primary checkpoint exam. Student moving from lower secondary to upper secondary, grade 9, this is also sanctioned by the lower secondary checkpoint. So we have two series or two different sets of checkpoint exam. This will happen, the next one will happen in April 2025. And the big update about this checkpoint exam for April 2025, these are compulsory. So all students will sit the respective checkpoint exams. So the student, grade 6 student in April 2025 will sit the primary checkpoint exam. And the student grade 9 for April 2025 will sit the lower secondary checkpoint exam. And here are two key dates or time frame that I will ask you to keep in mind is the withdrawal from school. Tentative date is October 1st to December 31st. The admission team will share a Google form in a time manner. But once the students are withdrawn from the school, they cannot attend the checkpoint exam. And that means they will be automatically removed from the registration for the checkpoint exam. If for any valid reason that the withdrawal happened after that, please let me know by January 31st, because Cambridge has changed the policy and the withdrawal deadline is way earlier than it was before. Then after January 31st, there is no promise if withdrawal happened that we can refund the fee. So that is a big change for this the next batch. Then maybe some of you are interested to know more about the Cambridge International Certificate in Education, or the ICE certificate that we have introduced for this current academic year. So in a nutshell, the Cambridge International Certificate in Education, shortly ICE or ICE, is a group award for Cambridge IGCSE, so it's only applicable for the IGCSE level. It is quite popular in the US and South America. And what does it mean? Very briefly, if students can be awarded with the ICE certificate, this supports very well an application for moving in school in the state or university in the state. It's well recognized. And why is it so? It's because this certificate reflects a broad and balanced curriculum. So as you may know, the IGCSE certificate itself has a requirement of 5 subjects, which means that it's not as broad as 7 subjects. So if students can obtain this certificate, it shows that they have studied a broad range of subjects. Now, it is not so easy to understand, so I'll try to make it very easy to follow. The different subjects, IGCSE subjects, are divided into 5 groups that are listed here. You can see group 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The group 1 gather the languages, group 2 humanities and social sciences, group 3 sciences, group 4 mathematics, and the last one professional and creative subject. Among these 5 subjects, for the student to be eligible to obtain the ICE certificate, the student must pass in at least 7 Cambridge IGCSE subjects as follows. So the student, they have to enroll and pass 2 subjects from languages, and then one of group 2, group 3, group 4, and group 5. That makes up 6 subjects, and any other additional subject is the 7 subjects can be of any of the 5 groups. So here is what happened at UIA. So you can see that students, they have actually 4 compulsory subjects and 4 optional subjects, in a way that all of them, with an exception, are eligible for IGCSE as long as they register for all subjects for the examination, and they pass accordingly to the criteria. So you can see that all students, they are sitting English first language. They are all taking environmental management, which this one is a little bit particular because it counts for group 2 and group 3. It will only count for one group. So if students, for example, they are taking history, then environmental management can count as group 3. And if they are taking biochem physics that are only for sciences, then it counts as group 2. Then they are all taking Cambridge International Mathematics, group 4, and they are all taking information and communication technology, group 5. Now they have the option between French, Hindi, and Japanese for group 1, history, economic for group 2, the sciences, bio, chem, physics for group 3. Group 4, it's only mathematics, and then group 5, business studies. And as long as they sit all of that, the 7 subjects with this distribution of subjects, they are eligible to register for the ICE, and if they pass each exam, then they will obtain the ICE certificate. The ICE certificate is not offered by all schools, so that is where we stand out among the international community. And you can see that Japanese is in gray at the moment. We'll give you an update about that one. Yes, and actually for Japanese, I will give the lead to Mr. Michael. Let me just mute my computer, not my computer. Let me do this, and I'll go back on the slide.
Good man. Thank you, Dr. Frederick. Just so you're aware, Dr. Frederick is our Cambridge officer. So he manages all things Cambridge within the school, and he has been the one that actually committed all his time during Golden Week to ensure that our IGCSE and A-level and AS level examinations continued along unhindered. Can you just make sure you admit anybody? Okay. Now, as Dr. Frederick spoke to you, he indicated about the Japanese. Now, this has long been a bugbear of ours that there was not sufficient options for our students, particularly as we are a school in Japan. So last week I was at the East Asia Cambridge conference, and they announced that Japanese will be included as IGCSE. Now, that's not to be underestimated, that we were part of the push that actually got this across the line. A number of our Japanese teachers were interviewed by Cambridge. A long discussion about, is Japanese a second language or a foreign language? And so we feel very proud of the fact that we were part of the push that enables our students to have a more clear pathway to any certifications and any improved learning journeys. So, but that's the good news. These things take time. And so, as you can see, IGCSE Japanese will not be assessed until June 2027. Okay, so that's an important aspect to note. So bottom line is grade 6 students now can study Japanese and sit the IGCSE and have it contribute towards their ICE award. So we're aware that there was some changes and that we had a lot of students chop and change out of French and Japanese. All right. There is a moratorium on all subject selections for students from grade 6, from grade 1 to grade 6. We can't do anything about students in grade 7 and 8 because they won't complete the course in time to have Japanese contribute to their ICE certification. But grade 6 and down, okay, students can now study Japanese. Now, if you were a student, or if you're a family where your child elected to move from Japanese to French, and you now think, okay, I would prefer to have my child studying, or your child would prefer to be studying Japanese as a contribution to their Cambridge education, you have until next Friday to make the change. All right, so that's grades 1 through to 6. If you would like to now revert back to your previous choice, or you would like to study Japanese with the mindset that you want to sit the IGCSE Japanese exam, you have an option to do that change, but it must happen before next Friday. All right, you'll need to send an email to the divisional head, and you don't want to get it. So just the divisional head and the subject teacher, please. All right. So if you're intending to do those changes, do them before next Friday. Okay. I've got here, is it the Kikugo syllabus? No, it's not the Kikugo syllabus. It will be Japanese acquisition. All right, so this is not the Kikugo syllabus. This will be a Japanese acquisition. It is Japanese as a foreign language. Okay, very important aspect, and thank you very much for your question. So that's the great points about that. There'll be there's some other developments coming out of Cambridge, but that's the big one for us. It was a fascinating conference to listen to the strength of what is being provided by Cambridge. The validity and the reliability in their assessment approaches was discussed, and it reflected a very strong probability of the grades and the predicted grades and grades being a good reflection without error. All right, so the marking schemes and the methodologies that Cambridge are using, particularly at IGCSE level and AS level and A level, is proving to be having statistical strong viability. And I'll probably talk a little bit more about that at the June-July session. And this is coming straight from the Director of Assessments from Cambridge from last week's conference. So it was well worth attending. And we hope to continue on these sessions, sharing all this information that's coming out of Cambridge so that the parents feel like they can make educated decisions. So there it is. That's it in a nutshell. Thank you all very much. And I'm going to throw back to Dr. Frederick.
Thank you. So, okay. Yes. So let's revise the IGCSE curriculum. So again, candidates are taking 8 subjects. It's a 2-year program, so the assessment happened at the end of grade 10. And here is a supplement of information because of that. The window examination is the June series, so all subjects will be actually assessed from April to June, but it's called the June series, with one exception for Hindi. Hindi only happened in November. That is the only exception. But all the other subjects, so the sciences, math, English, they happen in June. And as you noticed on the previous slide, when Japanese happen, it will be in June, from June 27, and only in June. The results are disclosed somewhere in August, usually mid-August, and the certificate will reach the school around early September, as per my experience. Yes, then back to the ICE award. This award has 3 levels, 3 categories, from the highest distinction to the lowest, if I may say so, pass. And then depending on what are the grades for all subjects and also the percentage, they will be awarded a distinction, merit, or pass. For example, distinction, it's a grade A or better. That means A star in 5 subjects, along with a grade C or better in 2 other subjects. So it depends on the combination of grades. Merit would be grade C or better in 5 subjects, but there is a F or higher than F in 2 other subjects. And then a pass is a G in the 7 subjects, typically. Yes, then for we have other session for students and parents. Actually, we have what we call the transition week. For example, the transition week for grade 3 to grade 1 that happens in March, as well for students moving from grade 5 to 6. And if I'm not mistaken, one day is dedicated to the student, and there is one day for the parents, usually on a Friday, where the respective heads address the crowd. Then for students from grade 8 to 11, or grade 8 to 10 actually, so I mean by that, student moving from grade 8 lower secondary to grade 9, upper secondary. We have a marketplace where students can meet the subject teacher, they can meet the university advisor, Miss Mami, they can meet the respective head as well, ask questions about the curriculum, or any question that can help to select a subject for their future. There is the same even for students moving from grade 10 to 12, so from the pre-advanced to the advanced program. It's happening at the same time, somewhere around September. It will be the second half of September when actually subject teacher will have the time to join the event. Then another day that you may want to keep in mind, it's July 18. We'll have a similar Cambridge information session dedicated to grade 11 and 12, so more for the A level. So we will invite parents from grade 8 to grade 12 to join us for any question or discussion you would like to have with us. And if Mr. Taylor has nothing to add on this, then we can open the session for questions.
Yep, we've got wait there. We've got two questions, Dr. Frederick. First question is, how about the kids in grade 8 who are learning Japanese? What are they supposed to do? Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do for them. They can still, of course, study Japanese all the way through to grade 10. But until 2027, there is not going to be an IGCSE examination for those students. And as a consequence, that means they do not qualify for the ICE award. It's unfortunate, but this is the situation that's existed now for a little while. This is only changing now. We can't push it through any quicker. The actual introduction or reintroduction of any curriculum takes a considerable amount of resources and time, which is why there's not going to be anything on offer until 2027. So again, they can continue to study Japanese. It's not going to stop them from studying it all the way through to grade 10. They just can't sit an IGCSE exam. Second question, is it compulsory to take environmental management? Can the combination of physics, chemistry and biology with economics be taken?
That's a very good question. Let me double check the
don't think it can.
I don't think it can.
There it is there.
So
Compulsory subjects.
yes, so environmental management is compulsory because it can stand for group 2 and group 3. So this is just to ensure that students, once they take their 8 subjects, with the exception of Japanese, they are eligible to see the ICE certificate. So the answer is sadly no.
Well, it's not sadly. It is what it is. We don't make the rules. We just apply them, the guidelines. We've got someone's got a hand up. If you could actually just put your questions in a nutshell into the box, we find that we can manage the questions a little bit easier with the different connectivity for people. So put your questions into the question box. Can Kikugo students take IGCSE certification in Japanese? Again, as I spoke about earlier, it is the Japanese as a foreign language. It's not Kikugo, which is a second language. All right, so no, the students in Kikugo will not be able to sit IGCSE certification. Any other questions, folks? All right, we'll give people a little bit of time to have a think. Just to reflect again, I'll even put my camera on so you can see me, for better or for worse. Ladies and gentlemen, it's exceptional the response to today's session. We've got 86 parents here. And again, I apologise about the late notice. The information that we've only just been updated with this Japanese information, and we knew we wanted to have this session, but we didn't want to hold it until we had the information to be able to give you. So that's why there was a little bit of late notice. But again, fantastic that we can have 86 parents. And we're looking at running more of these sessions. Okay, this is a general information session. We do want to run information sessions specifically about assessment, so you can start to understand what's happening with assessment and all things Cambridge that allows or gives your child options. All right, we've got a couple more. Okay, so here, who can we email to change the second language? Yes, Miss Jessica if it's primary, and it's Miss Jessica and your current language teacher. All right, so Miss Jessica and your current language teacher, please email them before next Friday, the 17th, if you would like to make that change in your language selection. Why can't parents join Marketplace with their students as parents can help? Okay, there's twofold on this. One, logistics, because the space where we hold it is in our ICT room. It's not a large room. The second reason is we want to give your children independence. The most important aspect about a child deciding what their route is going to be is to gather information from themselves and understand and begin that research, and then take that information back and have good conversations with you, the parents. So we do this knowingly, and we always think that our first place for reference, our first place for educating, our first place for independence is actually giving the child responsibility to start exploring where they're going to go with their learning pathway. Can we take IGCE certification in any other subjects externally? I am sure you can. What those subjects might be, I am not 100% certain. So you'd have to go to the British Council, I would imagine, if you want to do any other subjects to contribute to ICE certification, but I don't know what subjects they are. If you have more of a question, maybe reach out to Miss Amy, and she'll be able to help you certainly find out, but also you'll be able to have to reach out to the British Council. All right. Understand your answer. The current grade 8 can study Japanese, but would it create any problems or any disadvantage in board exams from the 10th onwards? Well, the bottom line is with Japanese for grade 8, they can't sit the board exams. There is no board exams for Japanese for grade 8 students by the time they get to IGCSE. So I'm not quite sure I understand the question. Wait there, I'm still getting some people still joining our, no, they're in. Okay, so back to the questions. Is it compulsory to give exams for 8 subjects? We have elected, this is the route that we are taking as a school. In the UK, students study up to 9, up to 10 subjects. We've decided that we want a broad spectrum education for our students, and it's important that the students sit an examination where it's offered. There is very little logic to studying an IGCSE exam for 2 years and not sitting the culminating summative assessment that will give a reflection about how that child has performed, not only on themselves, but compared to their cohort. So yes, that is a subject where as a school, as a leadership, have made a decision, and that students will sit all 8 subjects where they're on offer. Will 7th grade students can continue learning Japanese without IGCSE? Yes, of course they can. Japanese will continue on. We will still be offering Japanese, French, and Hindi as a grade all the way from grade 8 to grade 10. An interesting sidelight to the Hindi question, you might be saying, okay, so why don't we see Hindi as in the May series for exams? Cambridge don't offer it. Cambridge only offer Hindi in the November session, unfortunately, which then puts our students and our teachers at a distinct disadvantage of either studying Hindi in a very short period of time and then sitting the IGCSE, or studying Hindi in an extended period of time, which is not always optimal. We still give them the option, and we're still, Hindi is still available for the students to study. I think I've just about got everybody. I don't see any more questions. Dr. Frederick, would you like to throw in anything else at this stage?
There is one more.
Oh, okay, there we go. That's correct. That's correct. The terminology that you would use is from 2027, Japanese will be recognised as an IGCSE foreign language. That then, as a consequence, means that students will sit an external Cambridge International Assessment exam in Japanese in the June series in 2027. Does that help? Okay, Kalyani, I hope that helps answer your question. Yes, good, great. Can I have a recording of this session later? No, we protect all of that. We're not going to share any of this out because otherwise you'll be able to call us out. Of course you can. I'm only joking. We're going to share it out. I've got a couple of parents who have already reached out to me to ask, and they have a copy of the recording. We'll record the record. We'll share out the recording. I'll send it out via Manage Back. And we'll also send out a PDF of these presentations. Well, if they want to, okay, the question is they cannot sit IGCSE Japanese until 2027. They do not qualify for ICE if they're studying Japanese, correct. Does this mean they need to take French or Hindi in order to sit IGCSE exam? They need to, if they want to qualify for the ICE exam, if the ICC award, then yes, they would need to take French or Hindi. But if they don't want to qualify for the ICE certification or the award, then they can continue on the exact same track. Okay.
Yes, actually, I would like to add a note to that is when they sit the IGCSE, regardless of the ICE, they will still obtain the IGCSE certificate.
Of course,
which is quite strong already.
Yes. Okay, now there's a question, there's a statement here with 7 subjects combination. Also, students will get the ICC certification. So my kid doesn't want to write the 8th subject. Hope this is fine. No, this is not fine. We have elected as a school, and the philosophy of our school is 8 subjects. No student withdraws out of a subject that is offered at IGCSE. It undervalues the subject, it undervalues the work of the teacher, and it undervalues the work of the student. This is going to be a hard and fast approach by the school with the intention of recognising the work the students and the teachers have done over a 2-year course. So again, there are 8 subjects at UIA that students study for. If there is an IGCSE exam that is available, then the students will sit it. I understand that since my kid is currently in 7th grade, he will not be able to take the test when he moves from a grade 8 to grade 9 in 2020. Am I correct in my understanding that students can choose Japanese for the timing test for 10th to 11th grade? Also, he is currently learning Kikugo. Should he change to Japanese? Your child's in grade 7, so it's not going to make any difference if they move from Kikugo to Japanese. It's not going to be available to them in the time that they've completed their grade 10. All right? So they wouldn't have studied it. The first offering will only be in 2027, so your child won't have qualified for that. So there won't be any logic in your child moving from Kikugo to Japanese, as well as moving from Kikugo to Japanese is going to badly underestimate your child's language ability to go from a native language course to a language acquisition course. And I think that they would be incredibly bored and not challenged in doing so. Okay. All right. For grade 10 school prefers Okay, yeah, that's a good question. And we 5 subjects we consider, and there's got to be special circumstances. What you have to understand is at the AS&A level examination, students, many of the curriculums across the world do a broad approach to their study. Cambridge does a deep dive in fewer subjects. we have found in our experience to date and in discussions with other schools, 5 subject is really a massive strain. It's possible, and we wouldn't allow any further than 5, and we do take it into consideration. We do recognise that 4 subjects is probably ideal. Again, 3 subjects is the minimum, and students can do 3 subjects because of the quantity of work and the depth of understanding that has to happen. So yes, we would consider 5 subjects, but the students would have to give us, and the teachers would have to support it, that this is not going to impinge on this student's ability to be successful in all the subjects. Can we have second language information for... Okay, well, you're going to receive this presentation and recording. Can we have this second language information? I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I can put something together just as a reminder that only grade 6 students will be able to receive the ICE certification. Next question is ICE certificate mandatory? No, totally up to the option of the student, and as a consequence, in consultation with the parents. Is IGC's exam for all subjects happen on November session, and can child attempt session in November and June? No. Again, as a school, we have elected to prioritise the June series. We are not structured well enough and big enough to be able to offer the November and the June series, and we don't see the value in reducing the time that a student can sit for an exam when they are 2-year courses. All right, so the only exception we make to this is where our hand is forced with Hindi. This was a decision that the school made a number of years ago, and I fully support it. In no other examination board across the world are students allowed to sit 2 sessions of the same exam. Will there be any accommodations given for students with dyslexia? Yes, of course. I'll finish off the whole question, sorry. Will there be any accommodations given for students with dyslexia or dyscalculia when appearing for IGC exams? Yes, 100%. What we would though require is medical certification to say that the child has dyscalculia or dysgraphia or dyslexia. And then there is a very clear process, and they're the allowances, the accommodations that are made for students, not only in those areas, but other certifiable learning support needs, we can accommodate for students, extra time, specialised spaces, etc., etc. For IGC certificate, Kikugo and Japanese is not the same. No, there is no IGCSE certificate in Kikugo. There is only IGCSE for Japanese as a foreign language. If not, then give the exam purpose students to change from native Japanese to Japanese. Is this correct? To change from native? Okay. What I think you're asking me is doesn't it make more sense to eventually change across to Japanese as a foreign language? Yes, I understand what you're saying. My only concern is that over 2 years, if your child has the capacity to study in Kikugo, they're going to be really bored in Japanese as a foreign language. There's nothing we can do to stop them doing that. And it actually is a discussion we've been having at a Cambridge level about what students qualify for studying Japanese as a foreign language as opposed to a second language. So the short answer is yes, your child can study Japanese as a second language if you would prefer. Have a good long conversation with the teacher and with the student, and then let us know what you want to do. And we can have further discussions about this. I understand the Cambridge board does allow accommodation of students with authorised assessments, correct? Japanese exam, which is recognised in 27, will be the same as French and Hindi exam, or is it going to be a special type of exam separate? No, it'll be exactly the same. The examination board, which is why it takes until 2027 for an IGCSE exam to be externally assessed. It will be along the same methodologies. It will be the same parameters. It'll be the same guidelines as Hindi and French. Which is why it takes the number of years to be included in the assessment stable for the external exams. So yeah, bottom line is yes, it will be. It is possible to change to French if the student is currently, and this is what maybe you didn't catch it at the beginning. And Dr. Frederick, if we could go back to that slide that just reminds us. If parents want to, there it is. No, next one. That's it. If parents and students want to, more importantly, if a student wants to change subject selections to change back from French to go from French back to Japanese, yes, you can. Or you want to change from Japanese to French because of this latest pieces of information, you have until next Friday, May the 17th. I'll send this information back out again. And you need to send an email to the respective divisional head, either Mr. McKee or Miss Jessica, and the current language teacher. All right. Taking Kikugo lessons, but kids can take exam of Japan as a foreign language. Yes, they can in 2027. Okay. So yes, students that are studying Kikugo can sit if they're in grade 10 or grade 9 and 10 in 2027. They would be able to study Japanese as a foreign language. Do students who is taking Kikugo class take an exam of Japanese for ICE? No, they do not. Okay, the ICE exam. The IGCSE exam in languages is Japanese as a foreign language. It is not Japanese as a second language, which is what Kikugo is. Is there a possibility that Cambridge will withdraw Japanese again? We hope not. We hope not. We're out in the hustings, and we're out trying to convince Cambridge and to get a groundswell of opinion to get them to this point. I think that Cambridge, on speaking at that conference last week, there was a definite interest from Cambridge about the expansion of the Cambridge program in Japan. We are a very popular country. Excuse me. We are a very popular country, so I'd be very surprised if they change back and they backflipped. I think that they see Japan as a growth area and they're looking at investing more time in the area. I can well imagine, and there was a lot of, and it brings a lot of calm, Sharisha, to us as well. We're very frustrated, which seemed to be in a logical learning pathway for our students, which is why we did so much work to get it included. No, they won't do it because the time frame won't allow it. So sorry, my child is at grade 7 and opted Japanese as second language. They would not, so would qualify for the 27. Is that my understanding? That's correct. If your child wants to attain the ICE award, they would have to do it in either Hindi or French, as they're in grade 7, and it won't be on offer by the time they get to grade 10. All right, before I collapse after all this talking, which is not normally my forte. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for Dr. Frederick. Thank you all for the fantastic questions. As I said, I think it's a record for us, 86 parents on this session. We look forward to bringing you many more of these sessions. Next one is July the 18th. Have a fantastic day. I'll get some information out to everybody, a bit of a summary about this latest changes in the language offerings for IGCSE and the impact this has on the ICE award. look forward. Don't forget, keep up to date with what's happening in the school via reading your Shimbun every week. There's 40-odd pages of fun-filled facts and fantastic experiences that are being enjoyed. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful rest of Thursday. Thank you, Dr. Frederick, and thank you, Miss Mammy, for joining me here today, or us joining Dr. Frederick for this wonderful session. Thanks, everybody. Ijo desu.
All right, I'll end the call now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Why can't I end it? Do I have to? Maybe you have to end it.
I did.
Yeah.